Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Shortbox Podcast.
The Shortbox Podcast is recorded live from Jacksonville, Florida.
Ed, I think you'd be proud of me. I recently went to I was a seat filler for the WWE Raw Monday Night Raw that came to town.
Oh, you were a seat filler?
Hashtag seat filler. Yeah.
Oh,
I was on that seat filler life, man. Technically, we're not supposed to talk about seat filler. That was one of the rules that I'm breaking right now. It was, we don't talk about seat fillers.
First rule of seat
But here I am, breaking every rule.
I would tell people like I was an extra, and like because technically like, you work for the WWE.
I'll tell you this much: it definitely felt like a giant commercial for. I mean, when is WrestleMania? Because I imagine it's right around the corner, right? Like,
yeah,
I think
next
April.
month or April. Yeah.
So everything was like, and I'll see you at WrestleMania, chump. And you're like, oh, like
Dang.
a wrestler came out and talked shit. Other wrestlers showed up, and you're like, yeah,
But we're not
kill
doing it here.
him, but we're not going to do it here.
Not for Jacksonville. We're doing this at WrestleMania. I'm going to waste my energy here.
I'd never do it in this dirty ass
You're lucky
city.
I even came.
But overall, man, like production-wise, it was a lot of fun, man. The sound, the music, like the visuals, like on that big-ass screen.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun.
What was
it was a lot of fun.
the age demographic? Was it young?
Man, you already
Like-
know what it was, Drew.
Really? Okay.
You already know what
Only
it
because
was.
here's the only
You
thing
ever been to a comic show
Comic convention?
at
There
the
you go.
Ramona Flea Market?
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Then I know.
What's
it.
it
I
At the
know it.
Ramada Inn is what I meant.
Bet,
but-
bet. All right, cool, nice.
Well, you kind of Ramona Flea Market and
sure.
Comic
The
Con.
demographic there,
That's
yeah.
the crowd you're going to
Okay.
see.
Oh, you mean like you ever been to a Black Friday at Walmart? Like,
Black Friday at Walmart.
yeah,
That's
okay,
good.
Cool,
Yeah.
Cool. Sick.
And that's not to
Tight,
say
tight.
anything disparaging against them,
not at
despite our
all.
jokes. If you
Awesome.
can get a seat filler gig at a wrestling show, why the hell not? Wrestling talk aside, I feel properly warmed up. Y'all want to go ahead and get this thing started?
Yeah. Can
All
I
right,
use
let's
the
do it.
bathroom real quick?
Yo,
I'm just
come
kidding. I
on.
just wanted to say
All right. Yo, Short Box Nation. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 354. And if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show. My name is Botter Milligan, and today we're discussing a handful of the latest comic news and headlines for another installment of the Short Box News series. If you want to hear about a specific topic, check out the show notes for this episode for a list of those topics and their timestamp. But before we get ahead of ourselves, allow me to introduce my co-host this episode and the rest of the panel here with me in the studio. We got a full studio crew today, small but mighty this episode, all right? First up is the Especial, Art Macon, Edbot 5000, and his human guys it's Edmund Danzart. What up, Ed?
Hey,
what up, Ed?
What's up?
All right, and you heard his voice a little bit so far, but let me go ahead and formally and officially introduce the third mic today, all right? Next up is someone you normally only hear on bonus episodes.
Oh.
But he's made a special exception this week and decided to grace us with his presence. He's HR's worst nightmare. It's Mr. Andrew Torres, ladies and gents. What up, Drew?
Chilling.
Yo, the curls is looking good, man.
Hair is looking glorious.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You
I went through so much pain, like literally an hour and a half ago. I'm in pain.
What happened?
Did your mom come here?
Nah.
Oh,
I had to
no.
pay somebody to like comb this out, so it was like matted
wow.
and everything. And then when they were combing it out, oh my god, I was cursing everything I can think of. This is like I was like, I don't know why I keep my hair so long. And then
It's the price of beauty, all right? Look
It
at you.
is.
You're looking
It's-
all fancy.
dude, I'm telling you right
You look
now,
like a wrestler, actually. You look like
Appreciate
a wrestler for sure. He
Like
looks like
a drugged out X-Pac. No, I look like X-Pac, like the 1, 2, 3 kid, but like the 9, 10, 11 guy.
Regardless, we're happy to have you here with us today, Drew. Listeners, as you can tell, Ashley and C decided to take the day off, but they'll be back next week for our Moon Knight episode. Hopefully. Before we begin with the main event, I kid, all right. They both know that Shortbox don't got no paid leave, so it behooved them to return next episode. Before we get into the main event, Ed and Drew, I'm going to need your help with this next thing, all right? Because we have a new member of the Shortbox Elite, all right? He's a listener who's finally smartened up and decided to become a Patreon subscriber to reap all those sweet, sweet perks and rewards we have to offer. Help me welcome aboard our guy, Penn Marin, for making the best decision of 2020 so far.
Oh.
Penn, welcome to the club.
I'm excited to meet you.
Yeah. Let me shake your hand, Penn.
Oh, man. That's Rogue Scarecrow, right?
Yeah, Rogue Scarecrow on Instagram.
I don't know anyone's real names anymore. It's all IG handles.
Yeah, when you meet someone in real life now, it's like, yo, aren't you Buttfart 5000? Just stop stealing my name, son. All right, Penn, welcome to the club. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon subscriber. Your support means the world to us. And much like all of our Patreon subscribers, Penn will enjoy first dibs on podcast episodes before they drop to the public. Shortbox welcome package, access to video version of the podcast, bonus content, and he'll also have the ability to vote on episode topics, like our recent Moon Knight poll, which came to a close this week. I gave the patrons 3 choices for a Moon Knight comic spotlight. The very first, series, his origin. And then I gave them the Warren Ellis, Declan Shelby 2014 run, the one where they introduced Mr. Knight. And then last but not least, the very popular Jeff Lemire and Greg
These are the only
Smallwood
3 that
one.
matter. That's what
Yeah, I just picked
Hey,
3.
please be for these real 3 ones.
Yeah. Out of those 3, which ones do you think won?
The Warren Ellis, not the Warren Ellis. The
Oh.
Jeff Lemire.
You had it right the first time. That Warren Ellis run won 45% of the votes.
Dang.
And surprisingly, the origin was next up. The Jeff Lemire run was actually the lowest voted one, which was surprising. And I won't lie, that's the one I actually really wanted to read.
It's Ashley's hate for his art.
She like
Encouraged
smaller.
our-
Jeff Lemire's not even drawing it.
I know.
So yeah, next week the patrons picked
Nice.
the Warren Ellis run for us.
Which one
to
would you
highlight.
pick, Drew?
Yeah, which one would you pick?
Lemire?
Probably the Warren Ellis one.
Yeah,
I like that
that's
one a
me
lot.
too.
That one like turned everything on its head.
Yeah, that was a big
It's a good one.
because that was like that series kind of like revitalized Moon Knight at that time.
I think
I
so.
felt like he kind of brought it back.
Yo, he was wearing a suit. Like that whole white
That's
suit
true.
was
True.
I was like,
Mr. Knight,
dang.
Mr. Knight, that persona itself was worth it. And for anyone tuning in, man, you can enjoy all those rewards yourself when you consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. All right, get rewarded for supporting this podcast and get our eternal gratitude. Sign up at patreon.com/theshortbox or find the link in this episode's show notes. Moving on to the main event. Today's episode will be focused on a handful of recent comic and pop culture headlines, articles, and announcements. We call these episodes Shortbox News. We try to do these in between our normal spotlight episodes and interviews, and we're trying to help you catch up with the latest happenings and updates and this nerdy biosphere that we enjoy so much. With that being said, we do have quite a bit to talk about.
We've got things to talk about.
Everyone brought their own topics to highlight. Yo, is it Jon Stewart? You know what time it is.
Oh, man.
I only bust out Jon Stewart for these episodes. But everyone brought their own topics to highlight today, so let's go ahead and get into that. Ed, how about you do us the honor of kicking it off? What was on your radar this week?
All right. Picture it, guys. Missoula, Montana. What do you guys think of?
Actually, I've got a buddy, Forsley, that lives in Missoula, Montana. He's the only person I know that lives there.
Oh, then he should be able to stop by Vault Comics HQ because that's where they're based out of.
Oh.
And for this news, this hit Forbes Business Insider.
Come on,
so
man.
it looks like
you love to see it. You love to see when comics make like them big publications.
And it's a like relatively new company, 2016. But we have investors from, let's see, Jeff Ubben, who is a big hedge fund guy. He's also part owner of UTA, who also threw in some money. Basically, UTA's United Talent Agency. They represent comedians, esport people, bands, like top tier people. Like,
nice.
If you see their list, just going through the A's is like, okay, you guys are legit.
Yeah. Like, I don't even need to go through
they got to do
B's
by
or
alphabet.
C's.
Yeah, A's. Okay, you're good. And like I said, they are putting some money into Vault Comics. Crush was also another. They basically specialize in music as far as like bands and producers, writers. They have people like Lorde, Miley Cyrus, Weezer, Green Day, Jewel, like big names. They're throwing some money in the pot. I couldn't get any real information as far as, I know you're asking earlier about as far as like ownership stakes or things like that. But I just, they're, investing in Vault Comics for future, IP farming. And like I said, not just them, Rick Matros, who's made a lot of money in the medical field. He's a self-proclaimed comic fan, and he has dabbled in some film production. He's putting some money in. And the weirdest one I saw, because a lot of the articles would say Metallica. Yeah. It's like Metallica. So Metallica and looks like several people, Paul Donahue, former Morgan Stanley investor, big, Matt Jonopal, ex-Fender Guitars, I think president or, high up guy. They started a company called Black Squirrel Partners. And they basically are specializing in IP, developing IP, and buying music catalogs for licensing. So, and Metallica is one of the partners in it. So they didn't even put the band member. They just put Metallica. They're not even going to write their names out.
You want to get eyeballs on this,
but
on this deal.
It's not like the way some of the headlines see is just like Metallica is just throwing some money in this comic company, but they're part of this investment group as well.
Okay.
So for a company that just less than 10 years old, they're making some moves. They already have, Vagrant Queen. It's a sci-fi TV show. And they have, I think, a couple other things in production. A couple of their IPs are going to be TV shows eventually. Like I said, they broke that 1 million plus comics sold. So they're making moves. Like I said, one of my favorites last year was Barbaric. It was just a 3-issue series, but like they're doing some really, good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, last year, like, I had a few titles of theirs on my radar and pull, like The Blue Flame.
Yeah.
Like you said, Barbaric. There was also that Colin Bunn comic, The Last Book You'll Ever Read. And then Savage Shores was one that like another friend of mine was really into. So they've got some solid like titles.
Yeah, and they already have, of course, Diamond's distributing comics, but Simon & Schuster's distributing their graphic novels and stuff to bookstores. So, and one of the main things, also they kind of are looking at that Keanu Reeves Berserker business model because that thing sold a lot. Not a bad book, but I think they're trying to, and that's the only time I've really seen it work, but trying to get that celebrity tie-in so we can.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, so we can sell comics because, we want to make money, but that can influence, that can go to animation, that can go to movies, that can go. We can, with these people involved,
they can pull in anyone.
We can bring in bands to do music for. Metallica could do the score. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But they want to also work on more, direct to customer business. So they're kind of wanting to expand that, but not, say F you to the retail part of it. But they want to have more, direct to customer. I think TKO is a good business model for that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's big. It's and a lot of the financial magazines thought enough of it to write an article. So pretty big news for Vault. See what next few years, see what they come up with.
That's
for
pretty
sure.
cool.
Yeah, Drew, it almost sounded like you had something to say about like the Keanu Reeves celebrity endorsed comics.
It's like, yo, it's so funny to me. Like, I went to the comic book shop and I saw already like 4 or 5 celebrity lookalikes on covers, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. So we're just basically just putting actors in the comics. Oscar Isaac has a comic book coming out. The Keanu Reeves Berserker one.
Amelia Clark had a comic book too.
Yeah,
dude. And what's that one that looks like the actor that's Rick Remender just did a comic book that just came out.
There Will Be Blood, right?
I don't know if that's what it is, but I forget who that guy is, but he looks like that one actor. I'm trying to figure out which actor he is, but how do I feel about it? It's the same way I feel about celebrity podcasts. Like, I'm not going to give you my money. Go suck a dick.
Wow.
People are like, yeah, I listen to podcasts. Cool. What is it? Oh, a Dak Shepard. Get the fuck out of my face.
Oh, man.
Yo, Drew feels some sort of way about this, man.
Bro, it's like,
Stay in your lane, bro.
I guess why do you feel such animosity towards it?
because they're already going to have a built-in fan base when people are actually working hard to like talk about stuff. And then to me, it's like you're not telling, all you having is your other celebrity friends talk about the bonus content on DVDs. That's it.
I've definitely felt that way a few times.
Yeah, people are like, yo, I have a successful podcast. Like when they talk about how they're successful podcast, I'm like, yo, you have a fan base of movies that will just throw money at you.
That's the idea, though. I mean, honestly,
but that's how I feel about celebrities like that do podcasts.
So you think it's just a cash grab?
Fuck yeah, it's a crash grab. And get out of my face. Like, yo, don't ever suggest me a celebrity podcast.
Well, what do you think about kind of the same idea? What do you think about them like recruiting, like Marvel or DC recruiting, like New York Times best-selling authors to write comics? Like
True.
People who weren't
coats and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think about that? You think that is the same thing, or is it just like a different?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, it's like a different thing because I think not because
they're actually writing it.
Yeah, they're actually writing it.
Celebrities
really
are just
good.
putting their name on, like Steven Spielberg.
It's just your face. You're just putting your face on it. That's it. That's like, and it's like, yo, how much of this are you really writing?
I have seen that, and I think why the Keanu one may have worked where others have failed is he's become like such a
he's a nice
likable guy,
yeah.
and he seemed really a lot more involved than I've seen a lot of folks.
You know what else I think is an element to that book success is that essentially it was we finally got John Wick in comic form.
Or John Wick and the Highlander.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was already like a property that people were pretty familiar with, and Keanu Reeves was directly involved. And I mean, to your point, like that one did seem like he was like, he approached them.
They said that, he pitched the concept. So, I mean,
I'm not mad at, I guess I'm not mad at celebrity endorsed comics when it's done right. Like if it's a passion thing where they're involved in some way, and they're doing some sort of the process, then I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, and I can kind of see, I'm going to be this immortal badass so I can just kill everybody and not get hurt.
I think anything that helps get eyes on the medium for people that probably wouldn't check it out to begin with, I'm kind of like, I'm for it.
I think, and I agree with what you're saying. Like, it's just, okay, there's
definitely a lot of cheap cop-outs.
There's like a lack of sincerity to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, big picture, if you're owning a shop, you're going to get that shit in there. You want non-traditional people to kind of get involved and hopefully.
Yeah, that cross-pollination.
Yeah. So, but I see what you're saying because it's like, come on, stay out of my, stay out of my Kool-Aid, motherfucker.
In the case of this Vault News, what I do like about it is that it's like an additional resource for Vault, right? Like it's a direct revenue stream being injected into this company to do much more. It sounds like much more than comics, right?
Yeah.
Like Vault has already proven themselves on the comic front. Like they've got great writers, great artists. I mean, some of those titles we named, like Barbaric,
they've won or at least been nominated for Eisner Awards.
Exactly. So they've already proven themselves in that comic space, and it's like, well, yeah, the next logical step for us is to, to cross-pollinate, do more with it, whether it be films, TV, or whatever else they got planned. And they're going to need money for it. So if you've got like this group of, it sounds like, and these people are also managing and have done work in this space, they know what they're going to do.
It sounds like the season 8 of Entourage. Like,
well, you're getting investors that are for the most part in the entertainment industry. And that's kind of, when you do comics, that's kind of the next, that's why Stan Lee moved to California back in the day. He wanted to expand that, the licensing and make movies, TV shows, just kind of get more.
Yeah, because if comic books is your only revenue stream, then,
it's tough.
Good luck. Good
it's
luck.
tough.
I'm sorry for my tone deaf comment.
Just the that's why we got Drew on, man.
The liability.
Yeah, I
In the
told you
house.
I'm a liability.
Yeah, the liability.
Well, look, he's bringing passion, all right? He felt the way about, felt the way about celebrity endorsed podcast.
Hey.
And I won't lie, as a small, not small time, but as an indie podcaster, I've definitely
Bro,
felt
you
that
work
way.
hard for your shit. You've been putting on
Yeah.
some Cadillac, and then guess what? It's just like, who's making a podcast?
Like Conan
Who's
O'Brien makes a podcast.
Bro,
Real quick,
yeah.
for the record, his podcast is
It's
pretty
funny.
fucking
He's good.
It's pretty
He's
good.
funny.
Some of these are pretty
Okay,
good.
But it's like, come on.
Okay, he's a nighttime talk. He's not an actor. He's not some like.
But he's still
But it's a similar
fame,
format.
right? Like,
It's
it's
still
like
a
a fame.
format. Still like an interview format.
Yeah.
So it's not
Fair
like
enough. I see
a
what you mean.
huge
I see what you
departure.
Yeah.
Speaking about Hollywood actors getting involved in comic books, Drew, cover your ears. Drew, cover your ears. Drew.
Yeah, I
You
gotta
don't wanna
hear this,
this
man.
one.
Go ahead.
Gonna have to leave the
Let
room.
me say it. What celebrity's gonna be doing this now?
Matt Reeves recently announced that there's going to be a prequel comic called Riddler Year One. To be honest, I could have made this up. Like the timing of your diatribe and your anger with this story is pretty good. But Matt Reeves recently announced that they're going to be putting out a prequel comic based on Riddler. It's going to be called Riddler Year One.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, hold up now. Not even let me finish. It's going to be a black label book.
Nice. Oh, okay.
It's going to be a black label book. It's going to be 6-issue limited series.
6 issues.
And it takes, which I know.
That's a lot.
They're definitely cashing in on the hype right now.
Yeah.
Have him as an orphan growing up. getting beat
Actually,
up,
yeah.
Oh my
becoming
Look,
an
God.
incel
you
weirdo.
guys, I don't even have to. You guys are doing all the work for me. That's essentially it.
Can we
So
get
this-
some co-writing?
Yeah,
credits?
I hope they show that picture of him just basically mean mugging the shit out of Martha Wayne, just like, uh-huh.
I
And
guarantee you.
Bruce
that-
Wayne on the TV. No, that orphan gets to go to a mansion. No.
So it's going to be a 6-issue limited series. Takes place before the events of the Batman. It's going to be written by Paul Dano himself.
Oh, awesome.
Now hold up. Now
What else has he written?
I got it right here. I already knew you were going to ask that. But real quick, because I think it's important. I mentioned I credit the artist because that was something that all of DC solicitations did not do really well, was solicit the artist. And the artist is Steven Subic.
Was he in the movie?
No, he was not.
And I don't give a shit about Steven Seagal.
Whoa.
Damn, dude.
He just wants all celebrities.
Yeah, for real. Like, what the fuck?
No, I'm just, no, because the fact that DC's just pushing the Paul Dano thing, they're like not even mentioning this dude.
Yeah.
I would be pissed if I
Paul
was him.
Dano.
Oh, but go ahead. I was just kidding. I'm sorry.
So it's going to take place before the events of the Batman. It's going to be written by Paul Dano himself. And then you got artist Steven Subic, which I tried to look up some of his prior stuff. I couldn't find a lot. I think he's a Serbian artist who's worked on like some Conan stuff. But I think this is like his first big kind of breakthrough, with all due respect. But Matt Reeves' tweet was the following. Paul Dano's incredible journey for the Riddler isn't over yet, which doesn't surprise me at all. Unmask his new DC comic book, Riddler Year One, this October, and see the Batman only in theaters now, and then a bunch of hashtags, end quote. But Ed, you pretty much nailed it. It's going to examine how Edward Nashton, the Riddler, went from being a humble accountant and a nobody to, the killer that we saw in the movie. And to answer your question, Drew, Dano, of course, is no surprise here, has never worked on a comic before. However, he has proven himself as a capable screenwriter. He did write the 2018. He made his directorial debut with the 2018 movie Wildlife, which starred Carey Mulligan, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ed Oxenbould.
He directed it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He wrote the screenplay, and he is credited as director on IMDb, but he co-wrote the screenplay with his wife, Zoe Kazan, who was in the movie The Big Sick and Clickbait in Netflix. So he might not have written comics before, but he's written a screenplay, which, I mean, let's be real, writing a script for a comic book and writing a screenplay, I think we've heard people mention how there is some similarity to that.
Sure. Yeah.
But he's also writing the character that he played, right? Like, imagine the type of research or how he interpreted the Joker. And now we kind of get to see the Riddler. Thanks so much. Sorry. How he interpreted the Riddler. And now we get to see that kind of unfold in a comic book. I think that's interesting because he's essentially taking what he could tell you in an interview and putting it in comic form with visuals. So I think there's an interesting appeal to that of like, inserting a little bit of like, here's how I interpreted the Riddler. Here's how I prepped for him. Here's how I see him and his origin, which we didn't show in the movie, but we're going to show you here in comic form. I'm kind of okay with that. You know, like it adds another layer to the movie. You're now incorporating comic books, which we're always trying to champion. You know, because we always talk about how these movies sometimes. Just because the movies comes out doesn't mean that people automatically become comic fans. But now you're giving them a reason to maybe go check out the comic books. You like the movie, you like the Riddler, well, go check out his origin. We couldn't tell you all of that in the movie, but we can tell you that in a fucking comic book. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how that goes. Riddler Year One, it'll hit comic shops in October. So that was my first piece of news.
October? By that
time,
the hype is dead.
The timing is pretty.
October?
This should have came out at the same time.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
like this seems like a after thing. Like get the hell out of here. This thing is probably going to like just be pushed back.
You know what it probably is? At first, I was going to say maybe it's to align with the DVD release, but even that feels way too far out, right?
The DVD release is going to be like, yo,
it's like next week.
Yeah,
On DVD now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look, man. I'm just
Ramona
sharing the
and get the
news,
bootleg.
right? You know what realistically happened was they noticed how big this movie. This movie probably exceeded expectations and the opportunity presented.
He hasn't written one word.
Yeah, for real. It's just like nothing.
Yeah, like,
He wrote
Paul Dano found out
The Riddler
news.
by Paul Dano. That's all it's written.
The Riddler. I'm sorry. Paul Dano found out the news of this the same time we did. He's like, "Wait, I'm writing a fucking comic book."
It's hard to read your contract.
All right.
If Batman's successful, then we'll make a comic book. Like, get the hell out.
Yo, this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And then I mentioned that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material. None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show. All right, the next, I'm going to move on to my other news piece here, which I'm seeing a common thread that most of our topics are live action adaptations and announcements, but this one is a reverse of what we've talked about so far. No, it's not actually a reverse. It's kind of similar. Sorry. But there was a recent news that they are launching a Mandalorian comic book series come June. It'll be an 8-issue limited series. It'll adapt pretty much the first season of the series. I'm sure that a second season adaptation will be announced.
Oh, they're just adapting it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Is Jon Favreau writing it?
No, it is going to be written by Rodney Barnes, who's written Star Wars, Lando, Double or Nothing, so the Lando comic adaptation. Oh. He's also written Philadelphia for Image Comics as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it's going to be drawn by a Jorge Giante. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but he's drawn Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Weapon X from Marvel back in the early 2000s.
They couldn't get Pedro Pascal to write it?
You'd wish. That's pretty good. I see
Bill Burr's going to do his series of his
Bro,
character.
I would love to see Bill Burr do a comic book.
That'd be funny. Surprisingly enough, and this was news to me, that despite how popular these characters in this show has been, they have yet to make an appearance in like a regular Star Wars comic book. So this will be the Mandalorian as well as Grogu's first like comic book appearance.
Okay.
Granted, there is an exception to that they have made an appearance on a variant cover for a Darth Vader number 20, as well as exactly. These two don't really count, but as far as like their first kind of
It's not called
appearance.
first. Is it called first appearance?
It'd be like first. I mean, technically, right?
Yeah, technically it's like first appearance, but it's like
it's blurry. But the other one that us being Peach Momoko fans, Peach Momoko did a cover for Star Wars Insider 200, so like that Star Wars monthly magazine, and and the cover was of Mandalorian and Grogu. So technically, if you want to get down to the weeds, those would be their first comic appearance. But this new series launching in June will be like, the first comic book that they're actually in, and a regular comic book. So, which I guess my question for this one, or the question I'll pose to you guys is, do you really care for a comic book that is just adapting? And I don't know how accurate, if it'll be a panel to scene and directly like that, or if they're going to take some creative liberties. But do you guys care to reread a story that you've already seen unfold live action wise?
If it goes into, because I do have like a Django Unchained, they did an adaptation, but they expanded the story. Okay. Like they did the history of Candyland, and I like the art, and I like the whole thing. And if it does something like that where kind of expands where the show couldn't go, then, and if the art's good, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
If the art's good and interesting,
the art has to be there.
And then I have no problem with that. I think that's smart to get in casual fans, because they're not having to, oh, what the hell's all this bullshit? Mm-hmm. They can just say, oh yeah, this is the show. Oh cool, they go over here now. Oh, okay, this is the story behind these. They can do like more background stories and kind of flesh things out more, because that show, it's like it really the pace was pretty quick. And so they can kind of slow down and maybe do spotlights on the.
Is every issue going to be every episode? Like how many episodes was Mando? Was Mando 8 issues or 8 episodes?
Let me check. Season 1 was 8 episodes.
Okay,
too.
so if it's 8 issues miniseries, then probably we'll get like one episode every comic book.
Yeah. I think when it comes to announcements like these, like comics like these, I think are for the completionist. I think for like your diehard, must have everything Star Wars or just Mandalorian fans, they're probably going to hop on this, right?
Oh, sure.
So didn't they, and to answer your question, like, how do I feel about it? I mean, I can't shake a finger at it. I mean, I shake a finger at everything else, but this is the one. No, but it's like, what's the Batman one? Wasn't there a Batman animated adaptation that came out for the movie?
There was
the Mask of there's a Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah, so that's one of the things like, I'd love to get my hands on that. Even though I've seen that movie, even though I have the movie, I would love to get my hands on that because of the artwork. So
shit, I can't even speak because actually I can show you guys this. Listeners can't see it, but y'all can. I bought this Marvel graphic novel that is an animation special for the X-Men pilot license or show, Pride of the X-Men, and it is literally
just cells, right?
It is literally just cells put in comic format. So it's not even like an adaptation as much as it's literally a rip of the cartoon.
That was a big thing, I think, in like the 70s and 80s where they would take they would make a book with just like screenshots.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop. That's one of the things where Cowboy Bebop, I went to go look for that manga thinking it was like a manga like for real, and it's literally just a shot for shot.
Not only that, they would take the screen, but then they would put word bubbles in. So they would make a comic, but it would be made up of the actual screenshots of the movie.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool. Well, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I don't really care for it. I'll be honest. Exactly unless it went into maybe more. All right, so I think the difference between this Mandalorian comic series and that Riddler comic series one is that Riddler comic series is meaning to dive into something that you didn't see on screen. If I had to pick between the two, I'd be more interested in the Riddler comic because there's going to be stuff I haven't seen. I think the Mandalorian comic will be cool to see certain scenes done in comic format, but I mean, it's not really gonna be anything new, right?
Yeah, unless it's like a Jim Lee cover, and you're like, "Oh, I need that cover." And the way they're gonna get you is they're definitely gonna have some like sick cover artists. And
I can guarantee Jim Lee will not be drawing this.
But speaking about Disney Plus, there are rumors that a Daredevil reboot is taking place, which comes at a pretty good time, or a perfect timing, I think, because all of those all those Netflix Marvel shows have made their way to Disney Plus.
Defenders Saga, they call it.
Yeah, there's even like a little. Yeah. I think there's even like a hub on Disney Plus, right? Like
Get out of it, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Collects it all.
They can't call it the Marvel Netflix shows.
No. They're gonna put it. Damn.
You know how disrespectful that would be.
You can put Marvel and then like, oh, what N-word are they blowing out?
Marvel's redheaded stepchild shows. That's what that is. But according to an issue of Production Weekly, which is a magazine publication dedicated to spotlighting films and series that are about to be in production. I swear to God, there is monthly magazines for everything.
Those are probably, I think, like industry magazines, like just for professionals and stuff.
So in this magazine, Production Weekly, Marvel Studios has a listing for a project titled Daredevil Reboot. Like they were trying to hide it at all.
Yeah.
So that is kind of what caused the rumors to kind of go about, was because of this listing here, which, like I said, kind of comes at a perfect time with the Defender Saga stuff. Charlie Cox has gone on and said, did you say it was like an interview in Dubai or a Comic-Con in Dubai?
Yeah, there was a 2022 Middle East Film and Comic-Con, which I don't think would be in Dubai. Basically, they were asking him about he basically says it would be a soft reboot. He quotes, "I don't think it makes sense to pick up where we left off. On where a new season, let's see. Basically, when a new season comes up, he quotes, a few years have passed, it's Daredevil, but it's reimagined, it's slightly different. And so, do you know what I texted my friends when I found out this was all happening?" And then he puts Born Again. So I'm not sure if that's a teaser or if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And then with the multiverse stuff, I guess they can kind of juggle around the cast, because I don't know who all is coming back. Vincent D'Onofrio, of course, he came back in Hawkeye.
Yeah. Or you don't know. Do you think he's dead?
I don't.
No, I don't think he's
Off
dead.
screen. The off-screen rule.
The off-screen rule,
I didn't
yeah.
see no blood.
I didn't see a body.
Nope.
Yeah, true.
I think it'd be cool because the She-Hulk is the first time the second time we'll see Charlie Cox actually in
A non-Daredevil?
Yeah,
series?
in Daredevil, or non-Daredevil.
Wait. They've announced or they've confirmed that Charlie Cox is going to be in the She-Hulk
He's
show?
going to be in She-Hulk, yeah.
Because of
Oh,
the lawyer angle.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see exactly what it's going to look
Come on,
like,
man. He's
in the
getting
sense of tonal, what it'll look like, in the sense of how far you can do it. I mean, obviously,
and that's the thing, because they put all these on Disney Plus, because we were talking about this a while ago, because
you see all the parents that are getting mad about how
they changed
violent
their
it is.
they've updated their settings.
Yeah, you gotta unlock parental control lock or something like that.
So the fact that they didn't put it on Hulu, because that's kind of where all the rated R type of material, and then Plus was like PG-13 and under.
Unless you use a VPN, according if you set your computer as a fucking Holland, you can watch
everywhere
a rated
else
R
it's
show
just
on
America.
Disney Plus.
It's weirdly censored
But
like that.
I get them wanting to keep all that stuff on one app. It's like all of our other Marvel stuff is here. Why not put it on Marvel?
And I think that it's like, okay, then we can have a mature TV MA show, Jessica Jones is on there. It's like, Jesus, that's a pretty rough show. It's like body parts, and it's like, so if they have something as intense
First episode
as that,
starts with a suicide or a murder,
and then,
oh wow.
And then we'll kind of see how they do Moon Knight, because that's coming up next.
Damn,
And
it's
that's,
like
and that's the rumor. The rumor on the Moon Knight show is about how hyper violent it is. This one's supposed to be the violent one.
it's like, damn. I just finished watching Dumbo. Now I'm watching Jessica Jones.
Oh my god.
But I wanted to add to that Charlie Cox interview, because this might be from the same thing, but they had asked if he would be okay with them doing a PG version of Daredevil, knowing how most of the MCU films are PG-13 at the most, and he was basically yeah, I'm totally fine if they decide to go a little less blood and tone it down, which to me is well, of course Charlie Cox would say that, because he's trying to get the fucking
he's
bag,
counting money while he's saying that.
Yeah, whatever y'all want to do.
What do you want me to do? Yeah, okay. It's funny because he did say I think because there was a 2-year, they couldn't do anything with the properties for 2 years after the Netflix deal expired or they canceled the shows. And I remember him saying that he wants it should be rated R, but now it's now that it's actually happening, so yeah, I think, might be, kids are watching, it's not as much blood.
And I wanted to add this real quick, and Drew, maybe you'll find this interesting, but so in addition to the Defender Saga, you got you can now watch Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, the Defender show, The Punisher, also on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
But they also added Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on Disney Plus now.
Heck yeah.
Before it was only available, I think, also on Netflix, but that's also been rolled into everything as well. So
I got to go back and finish it. I was super invested in that show, and then I watched one season of Ghost Rider and Deathlock, and I cannot wait to finish it, to see what happens to Agent Coulson. And they still haven't said that Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon in Marvel, right?
Multiverse, bro.
Oh, okay.
Could be. It's just a different.
I don't think they've ever explicitly said that.
No, it's one
I think it's always been we won't say yes, we won't say no.
No, yeah.
Even like the Netflix, they would just say the incident or the whatever. Though,
Yeah.
Which I thought was always
Look,
cool.
that's cool.
If there's one person I definitely want from this Defenders saga,
Luke Cage.
I'm not. I wouldn't be mad
Oh,
at.
wow.
No. I'm cool with Luke Cage. No, I'm definitely cool with Luke Cage. I've got nothing wrong
He's
with.
like, no,
Put words in my mouth.
come on, Luke Cage.
Look, no, I'm definitely fine. I'm fine with Luke Cage coming back, but I really want to see John Bernthal come back.
As a Punisher?
Yeah,
Oh,
as
yeah, he's
Punisher.
good Punisher.
Like,
Okay.
a majority of them, look, outside of Iron Fist and Jessica Jones is kind of like, I'm kind of up and down with like Jessica Jones, but Daredevil and Luke Cage and Punisher, I would love to see them like make the transition and cross over to the MCU.
But Iron Fist.
Yeah, like I said, Punisher, Daredevil, and Luke Cage. I'd love to see the crossovers.
Maybe they reboot that. I can finally see my dragon.
Damn right.
It's not just two glowing eyes in darkness.
All right, Shortbox Nation, that's all the news and headlines we have to share with you today. If there's one that we missed or you want to highlight on behalf of us, let us know via email. Write a short email and send it to our inbox at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. And while you think of what to write, we're going to move on to our next segment and talk about some new comic releases hitting your local comic shops in the next month. It's time to grab a fistful of comics.
You can either have a mouthful of teeth or a fistful of comics.
Fistful of Comics is the part of the show dedicated to all you Wednesday warriors who loyally frequent your local comic shops every week. Think of this segment as a condensed audio version of a previews catalog, but curated by a man who definitely knows his way around a comic shop. This segment is brought to you by Ben Kingsbury, owner of Gotham City Limit, Jacksonville's premier shop for comics, toys, collectibles, and more. Even if you don't live in Jacksonville, you can still shop at Gotham City Limit by visiting their website or shopping their marketplace on the new What's Not app, both of which are linked in this episode's show notes. Let's go and cue up the music and see what's on Ben's list this week. First one on his list is from DC Comics. It's a 6-issue miniseries called Flashpoint Beyond. Issue 1 comes out April 19th. It's being written by a trifecta of writers. You got Jeff Johns, Jeremy Adams, and Tim Sheridan, with art by Zermanico, hopefully I'm saying that right, and Mitch Gerards is doing the covers.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's been pretty epic, man.
Dude, his artwork has sailed.
You know, I saw Mitch Gerards and I was like, damn, of course he's only doing the covers.
Of course. Tom King got him on lock. Tom King on lock. He's like, hey, man, they got some other books. No. I got this idea for a Batman story.
But Ben writes about this title. Thomas Wayne is back, and with nothing to lose, this miniseries will have a big impact on the future of DC Comics. Once again, that'll come out April 19th. Next up on Ben's list is from, it's a title from Dark Horse Comics. It's a new one. It's called Collector Unit 731, issue 1 of 4. It comes out April 20th. It's being written by Will Conrad with art by Marco Lesko. In regard to this one, Ben chimes in with, I love history, especially stories based on some true fact. Revisit one of the most terrifying biological and chemical warfare research developments Japan has ever mustered, and responsible for some of the most notorious war crimes ever committed by the armed forces of Imperial Japan. I had to do a little research on this one because it sounds more of a biographical, like actual real life story. And it sounds like this comic book series is going to be about the real life Unit 73, which was a unit of the Imperial Japanese Army that engaged in very deadly human experimentation during the Second Japanese War and World War II.
Jeez.
Yeah, the cover alone is definitely gives you the vibe this will be pretty serious.
This sounds like Weapon X.
But real life and much fucking more scary.
Yeah,
Much
obviously,
scary.
like-
Everyone just died a horrible death.
Yeah.
No one got any powers.
All right. And the third comic that made it on Ben's list this week is from Marvel Comics. It is Hulk vs. Thor, Banner War Alpha #1. Comes out April 27th. Ben wrote, the rivalry is back. Thor versus Hulk. What else do you need to hear? It's a 5-part crossover event brought to you by creators Donny Cates and Martin Coccolo. If I'm saying that right. But that 5-part event starts in this Alpha War #1 and then and then continues in Thor 25 and Hulk 7.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. Once again, that list is Flashpoint Beyond #1, Collector Unit 731 #1, and then Hulk versus Thor, Banner War Alpha. Drew, I imagine you're going to be lined up at the comic shop ready to read issue 1 of this Collector Unit 731.
Of course I am. No, actually, that just sounds actually pretty interesting. I wouldn't mind checking. I was about to say, like, to all your listeners, if you go to Ben's shop, make sure you dedicate a whole hour and a half of free time because you can just walk through that place and just look at everything, and still wouldn't be enough time.
For sure. And also just ask Ben all about the random stuff he orders.
Oh my god,
He'll give you a demo.
We went in and he had this Cobra Commander helmet, which I'm gonna tell you right now, like I'm not a big like G.I. Joe fan, but that helmet was super cool because it had like the mirror like face. So I was like, I would just love to have that and just wear that.
Dude, he had a was it Lord Zed?
Lord Zed.
Lord
Jesus.
Zed helmet mask that looked super realistic. But yeah, shout outs to Ben and the whole Gotham City Limit for providing that list. If any of those comic books interest you or pique your interest, put those titles on your pull list next time you're at your comic shop, or just pick them up when you see them on the racks in April. With that being said, we're going to go on a short music break. I got some new shit from Mech and the Marvelous to play. We got some fan mail to read when we come back. So stay tuned and enjoy the music. Shortbox Nation, and we are back. Once again, the music you just heard was by Mecha the Marvelous. Listen to more of his music on Spotify and Apple Music, or show your support and buy some music directly from him on Bandcamp. We got a link to his entire discography in this episode's show notes. We got one email to read today before we go ahead and do Champion Season. And of course, shouldn't come as no surprise, but it comes from our boy, T-Mix. His email is titled Geeky Train Goes Choo Choo.
Oh boy.
He writes, "Yo, what up, Shortbox? So thanks to y'all, I finally decided to set up a poll list at the start of the year, primarily for Saga, but excited to add Hulk Grand Design.
Nice.
Since I'm clearly new to the game, is it that normal for DC and Marvel, it seems to at least this year, be constantly pushing back release dates? I tried getting Moments in History #1 back in February, but it got pushed back to June/July. Then the Black Label Bat books, One Dark Knight, twice had the second issue." T-Mix, you got to run this stuff through like Grammarly or something like that. Hold up, let me do that again. Then the Black Label Bats books, like One Dark Knight, twice had the second issue pushed back. It's the worst to be excited to read an issue and then, nah, oh well. How often does that happen to y'all? My champions for this week: the Obi-Wan teaser trailer looks sick. Number 2, current King Conan 6-issue run by Jason Aaron. The story is great, taking place simultaneously in 2 periods, Shipwreck Conan and Conan Worth His Son Khan. Lastly, I saw that Chip Zdarsky is starting a run on Batman in the summer. Thoughts? Hasta la próxima, mis amigos. T-Mix. All right. Grammatical errors all aside, let's get to his first question here, which is how often do you guys experience certain titles that you have on your poll getting pushed back? The one that comes to mind for me might be that Wonder Woman series, the Black Label Wonder Woman series book. I think issue 1 took forever to come out. But granted, it is, Wonder Woman Historia is the one that comes to mind for me. I know issue 1 took forever to come out, and I don't know when issue 2 is coming out. Is there any other titles that come in mind when it comes to, like, long pushed out release dates?
There was a Mark Millar comic book that he did with Tommy Lee Edwards. I don't even know the name of it anymore, but that was one of those. The first issue came out, the second one came out, and then after that, it's indefinite. It's like not finished.
Yeah,
and then the one
a culprit of that for sure.
And then the other one, Southern Bastards, not Southern Bastards. What am I thinking of? The Jason Aaron book.
Yeah, Southern Bastards.
Southern Bastards.
Oh yeah,
that was a book that was just like that took forever to come out. Pushed back.
Writing like 25 Marvel books.
Yeah,
sure.
That's like the last on his priority, I'm sure.
So, but yeah,
that's a good one.
That's definitely one of the ones that like I remember just like it being pushed back, and then Are
you caught up on it?
On Southern Bastard?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've had like 5-10 years.
Some people just quit. Yeah, I'm like really interested where it was going, and then it's like, bloop, radio silence.
Yeah.
And then like for me, the last thing that I can recall, because I'm usually a trade waiter guy, But I think Jupiter's Legacy, when I was reading that, was always delayed. They would put out like 2 books. Wait. Oh, we're going to put this like 2-book collection. Like, because they didn't have enough for trade. So we're just going to, we're combining issue 1 and 2. That'll buy us a few more months before 3 comes out.
Yeah.
So
the book is called War Heroes. Yeah. So definitely Mark Millar is definitely one of those like.
yeah, Mark Millar and Frank Whiteley. Yeah, that shit's not.
You know why?
Because
Because they out here getting money in other ways.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I got a meeting with Netflix.
Yeah.
This could wait. But another one that comes to mind, and T-Mix, I clowned you, but I totally get what you're saying when it comes to the Batman Black Label books. I feel like those have definitely been prone to release dates getting pushed back. For example, the Batman Catwoman book by Tom King and Clay Mann. I know, like, it's a 12-issue limited series, if I'm not mistaken, and it's only been up to 10 so far. Like 11 and 12 are still kind of like, well, when's that coming out? And hell, even, and I want to say it's more so for art reasons. I don't want to put the blame completely on Clay Mann, but it sounds like he definitely needs time to
surf.
To get around to the art, because that's why they had Liam Sharp jump in for art duties for like these last 2 or 3 issues.
Okay.
Which is a drastic difference.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's the greatest one that we didn't mention? Secret War.
Oh, jeez.
Remember when Secret War, all that stuff was, because that was just a nightmare. That didn't get pushed out, and then
that was who's.
It was the
Isard Ribic and
Jonathan Hickman.
Jonathan Hickman,
it was
notorious,
Marvel,
another notorious late.
I think it's
guy.
like it's almost like you could almost do a math equation. It's like the better the artist, the more liable the chances of it being pushed back.
Yeah.
Release dates are pushed back are, and I'm assuming it's just because of how detailed a lot of these artists or how much time and detail they put into their work.
Yeah, I guess for me a current one, and I don't think it's been delayed too bad, but Cliff Chang's Catwoman Lonely City, which I really like.
Yo, I realized the other day that it's still only on issue 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this came
issue
out.
3 should have came out last week, but it got delayed again.
Okay.
Like, I think, and I guess there is a trend with these Black Label books. I think with them being primarily, for the most, I mean, not all of them, but for the most part, it's usually one creative. Like in that case, Cliff Chang is doing everything for
pretty much everything except lettering.
You know, you add something else to that equation. The more responsibilities that are on one person, the more liable it is for that release date getting pushed back. So let's address this second question here, which is the announcement that Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez are doing are taking over the Batman run over the summer. Is anyone going to be adding that to their pull list or checking that out?
100%.
Same.
I'll probably check out the first issue at least.
Chip Zdarsky
is he leaving Marvel soon? Because I can only imagine that they're not going to let you be a freelance Batman writer unless you have a plan to like go through some issues.
What is he currently doing at?
He's doing Devil's Reign. Right. He's doing Daredevil. He has another comic book that's coming out. I'm really excited that he's dealing with all the Golden Age superheroes, the free domain, like all those free domain superheroes.
Cool.
Oh, public domain.
Public domain. So that one's going to be coming out. That just got announced. But to answer your question, yeah, I'm pretty excited about Chip Zdarsky. I mean,
well, that's weird because he did sign that exclusive in 2018, so that must be up.
Well, no. According to this Polygon article, it's saying that his Daredevil run, which Zdarsky confirmed he'll be remaining on board for, has already displayed blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So you got this Batman. So he's taking over Batman with 125, which comes out July 5th. And for the most part, it sounds like he's going to be sticking with Daredevil at least.
Daredevil and Batman at the same time.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty
Well, it's weird. I'm not sure. Like I said, it's hard to say how exclusive these things actually are.
Uh-huh.
I wonder how many of them are like, you can't. I wonder if it specifically calls out new work. I wonder if it's like you can come on do Batman and you don't have to stop your current work. Yeah, like you're already doing Daredevil. Well, you can't do. I wonder if that's a part of it.
It could be. It could be just like, hey guys, I'm writing Batman. He could have that much pull.
True, he could be telling them like,
hey guys,
I'm writing Batman.
I'm not going to pass up Batman, guys. That's
yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna add this one to the pool, and I'm really. Jorge Jimenez is enough of a name as far as artists go to just have me add them. Check out like his work, but Chip Zdarsky hasn't done any wrong lately. So
I'll quote Rob Liefeld when he was feuding with Scott Snyder. It's like, it's not you, it's Batman. That's going to be a big book.
Thanks for that email, T-Mix. Much appreciated.
It's very good.
All right, for everyone else, that is our emails for today. We'd love to hear for more of you, all right? If you want to chime in, ask us a question, or champion some things, man, go ahead and share your thoughts with us. Or give us some recommendations. Write a short email to our inbox at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. We'll read them next week. But with emails out the way, it's now time to champion our personal favorite entertainment and media picks from across the larger pop culture universe. It's time for champion season.
Champion season.
Champion season is the part of the show where we highlight other worthwhile entertainment like movies, TV series, books, video games, and really anything else we'd personally recommend to our friends. This segment is brought to you by Black Hive Tattoo, Jacksonville's premier appointment-only custom tattoo studio. If you're searching for a group of talented artists who will work with you to bring your comic culture ideas to life, then look no further. Go to blackhive.tattoo.com and sign up for their newsletter to find out when they're taking new project requests. Drew, how about you do us the honors, man? Go ahead and kick us off. What are you going to champion today?
I'm going to champion friendship.
Oh, callback
For sure. C's not here to
No, so the first thing I would like to champion is I've recently got into the YouTube hole of like researching games. And the one game that I've been researching the most is Dragon Quest. I remember when they did the Akira Toriyama episode.
or Dragon Warrior.
Yeah,
in the
or
States.
yeah, Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest. What is that? What we call it? That's the English version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't call it Dragon Quest because of D&D or
Some
something.
role-playing
like that.
game thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
which I thought was really dope.
But then why was I able to buy Dragon Quest on the PlayStation?
I think that
It's
it
when it
was
first
just
came
during
out.
the time. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
when it first
that-
came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
When it first came out.
Interesting.
So I got the history of Dragon Quest and like how it came about. I watched like this 15-minute video where the guy was talking about it. So naturally, I went ahead and bought the first 3 games, and then this,
Like the Nintendo?
yeah, the Nintendo version.
Oh, okay.
It was a
Um,
remastered edition.
Yeah, it's remastered.
Oh,
It looks
okay.
really cool. It's fun.
Do you
and
have
then,
to grind for 80 hours to fight the dragon?
Yeah, probably.
It's like, you gotta like, oh
Dude,
my god.
my first go around, I got slaughtered. I went out. They're like, "Hey, be careful!" I went out to the kingdom. A slime shows up and just put the hands on me. And then I tried to escape, and it goes, "Slime has blocked your attack." And then
I'm
it just
gonna
kills me.
show my old age, and I got Dragon Warrior on the Nintendo because it was, if you subscribed to Nintendo Power back in the day, you got it.
Huh.
Because they
Whoa.
were trying to introduce like role playing games to the States,
Uh-huh.
and like a lot of times, a lot of the harder games, the Japanese those American idiots, they don't figure this shit out. They're
Dude,
too dumb.
it's definitely a hard game. I had to Google how to beat one character.
Well, yeah, just for the concept, and at that time, gaming was like left to right, the end.
Yeah.
So I got that game, and it came with like a book and like a map and like all the tips and stuff.
Dude,
So,
was
yeah,
all the Akira Toriyama's artwork in there?
not as much as you'd like.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
This was when
They changed artwork. I didn't realize that
yeah,
they do
this
that.
is when Nintendo would change. This was before the manga influence really came
Yeah.
into mainstream, but they would change a lot of cool, because you can look at old Famicom like art. It's so much cooler, and then you see the American version.
You're
It's
like, what the
trash.
hell is this? Yeah, Mega Man's another one. Like Mega
Yeah.
Man looks
Oh, the
so
Mega
dope.
Man.
Yeah, and then like they're
the
like
first cover, like
looks
how
like the cover to a Magic card.
it was done like, and I think I forgot, it's a brother team that does a lot of fantasy art, and the name just escapes me, but I read an article about that where it's like that was just like a sketch, like here's what I'm thinking, and then it's like good enough, and put it out there, and he's like, take my name off that. That's I don't want, that was like a sketch.
What was it? Greg and Tim Hildebrand?
Hildebrand, yes, the Hildebrand brothers. Yeah.
Okay. Dang. So did you beat this? Like, have you?
Have I beat the
since-
game?
Have
Yeah.
you beaten the game? Have you since returned to it or tried
No.
any of the new stuff?
No, it was done.
Okay. The resale value on that is crazy.
I did play one of the PlayStation 2 ones where it looked kind of like Toriyama,
Uh-huh.
like the cell shaded, where it started to kind of look like the characters. But I'm not a big. Those just are too much of a time suck for me.
Okay.
Right now.
This new one just came out and it looks beautiful. This game looks like a thing between Zelda and what was the other thing we compared it to? Like Dragon Ball Z and Zelda. It's like Dragon Ball Z meets Zelda,
Nice.
and then you add that D&D to it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
It's
cool.
like a lot of Toriyama's like artwork is very prevalent,
Yeah.
or style is in it.
And then what I
That's
love
cool.
about it is turn by turn based. That's something that I definitely meant. Like I like all these new games where you kind of go and fight, but sometimes
Yeah.
I do like the turn by turn based.
Take your turn.
Go over there, yeah.
You just take your time, think about it.
Yeah.
Shit, you might be able to go make a sandwich too.
Run away.
Damn.
Good stuff.
So that, and then the other thing, I'll just wait until you champion the honorable mentions of the TV shows that we've been.
Tag team champion.
Oh yeah, the tag team champion. So, wish I had some comic books. The one comic book that I read in its entirety and I loved it was Heads in a Basket by Joe Hill.
Yeah,
it was one of these like
that's his DC stuff, right?
Yeah, it was one of those like, I mean, we've been getting a lot of crazy rain here, so it was one of those like I can't really go anywhere, I can't do anything, and it's like raining hard. I was like, let me just read a comic book, and that whole evening was just a great experience. It was just really cool concept. It's about this weapon that instead of killing you, it gives you life. So this girl is like she basically is in the middle of like this. There's a big crime thing that's happening, and she is trying to fight for her life. And she grabs like this Viking axe, and she like chops off this dude's head. And when she chops him off, he's still alive. And then there's like a legend behind the axe that like it said like this axe was carved from the actual tree from it's a Viking axe that was carved from the actual tree. I forget what it's called, but it's the tree of life. So the fact that has like the wood in it, instead of killing somebody, it brings it to life. So cool. She basically like in the first issue, she chops off of this dude's head, and she's rolling around with it in this town. And this town is actually getting there's like a bunch of rain. All the power's knocked out, so it's definitely one of those like. Do you remember that old movie where there was like a big storm going on, and that's when they decide to like rob the bank? It's like an old movie, but it's that premises. Like the town is getting underwater, so there's a bunch of bad guys that are like, all right, cool, we can rob people. And she gets in the middle of it.
Was it called a hurricane heist?
Yeah, hurricane heist. So it's in that preference. Like there's like it's a small town. There's a lot of rain. The power's all knocked out, and she's just trying to figure out what's going on.
So when she chops off the head still talks and stuff.
Yeah, okay. It's so well done, and there's so many twists and turns of it, and the artwork is crazy gorgeous.
So I decided to look this up because you definitely piqued my interest with this. The first issue, released in 2019, sold over 10 million copies.
Wow,
that is insane. It is it's a DC Black Label book that's underneath Joe Hill's Hill House Comics imprint. You know, his horror line of comics.
Yep.
This artwork is awesome.
It's amazing.
It is, and I've never heard of these pencilers, but it's Leo Max and then Reika Murakami. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. But it's got Dave Colors as the colorist.
That's what it is, and the color in there cool. lead to itself. I would totally love this to be a TV show or a movie. Like once you read this, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool.
That's cool.
And it's not like out of the realm of possibilities of being like, okay, this is pretty cool. The twists and turns on this are amazing.
Nah, say less. I'm definitely adding this. Yeah, I'm gonna read this up next. Hopefully, it's on the DC app.
I hope so. I'm telling you right now, like you read it when it's raining, it'll add the ambiance to it.
That's
amazing.
Cool. All right.
So those are my two champions. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Make a picnic basket.
All right, Ed, to you.
Wow,
what are you going to champion?
A romantic evening alone.
See my favorite, one of my favorite artists in Ed's hands, besides Ed's hands.
Oh, okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to champion the recent 71-74 annual by T.P. Lewis and Ashley Wood. Pretty much it's a collection of Ashley Wood's short stories. Like I said, Ashley Wood's one of my favorites. Like when we did our top 10, he was in my top 10 comic artists. So anything, and like it's nice seeing his stuff on the comic rack again because he's just been doing some really nice hardbound art books of his sketches and his paintings because he's kind of moved into the fine art / kind of toy, AKA, like high-end toy mania.
AKA he's getting the bag.
Yeah. So when something of his comes out on the comic bookshelf, I gotta pick it up.
Dude, that looks really cool.
It's really cool.
Design wise alone?
Yeah, the design. It has kind of like, you get kind of like the Bill Sienkiewicz type of feel, and it almost has like a woodcut type of look to it.
Oh, okay.
But it is just a masterclass of just page layout, design, illustration. Love the stuff.
I know you said a bunch of short stories. What's the longest? Dang, this is a hefty book too.
Yeah,
$10. What's the longest story? Is it like 3-4 pages?
Maybe 3 or 4 pages is close. There's my favorite one's a cool Astro Boy kind of tribute. The first story.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was looking at it.
It's
was
really
like,
cool. But just like I said, if you like Ashley Wood, Just get
This
it.
came out like this week.
Maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
I'm calling the shop right after this.
There's not a big print run on it, so make sure to order
So definitely got to
fast.
call the shop.
What
Okay,
is it? What
good
title
stuff.
is that?
7174 annual by Image Comics. Oh yeah.
Is there a reason? My question is, why is it called 7174 annual?
I know that's his publishing company. It's called 7174. I don't know what the numbers mean.
So where did most of those short stories live? Like on his website or something?
I think on his website or in other random books. So I don't think it's 100% new, but it's just like a collection of stuff that I guess fans have been wanting, and he just put them all together in a magazine.
Consider it done. You sold me, Ed. That was a good champion. All right. As far as my champions, I got a trifecta. So I'll try to keep this short and sweet. My first one is League of Comic Geeks, and I've championed them before, but I'm going to circle back and champion them once again because I just came across their app. They have an app called Comic Geeks, which is a lot like their website. For anyone that's unfamiliar, League of Comic Geeks is a website, but now also an app. But you can track upcoming releases. They've got like an up-to-date new comics release calendar. They got catalogs. You can make a subscription within the app. It's free to sign up. So you get to kind of build out like your digital pull list. Like if you're like me and you're kind of like, damn, what's on my pull list or what do I need to add? You can make a subscription on the website as well as the app. Really, if you make a profile, you can use it on both
That's really cool.
platforms. But
Is it user friendly though?
Big time. And I think my favorite part is that it gives you a spend forecast where it tells you like, which could be a little scary, right?
Oh no, I don't want that.
You don't want to be reminded, but at least it won't be a surprise going into the shop. Like like, hey, this week these titles came out, so you're probably going to spend whatever this much money this week. There's a Android. The app is both for iOS as well as Android. You can catalog your comic books for free, what you own, what you've read, what you want. And there's also like a little community feature too, where like there's like a discussion board and you can talk about your collection and share your pull list with other people and have that aspect. But really for me, what I love the most about it is just reading and getting spun up on solicitations. Like you can look at, like for example, any of the comics that Ben championed, and you can see the other issues of that series for 3-4 months at a time.
Okay.
Like, like, oh, this comes out this date. It tells you the creative team. Like, it's just a fantastic resource for anyone that is collecting comic books. So T-Mix, actually, I'll address this to you where, you're just getting back into having a pull list. League of Comic Geeks would be fantastic for you to utilize. So yeah, website.
League of Comic Geeks. And if you can pick up I just still like the physical stuff, but pick up a previews.
Oh, dude, all
like
day.
it's just a cool reference book to have.
Yo, look, actually, I don't have my latest one, but some shops will even give it to you for free. You know what shop will give you one for free? Fucking Gotham City Limit.
Nice.
Which is a great, like...
I remember back in the day, more shops would do that because they know it's like they're coming back with an order form.
It's like, yo, this is all the advertising I need to do in this, $5 book. So.
Yeah, and I'm clearing I'm already clearing that way more with all this.
For sure.
It's like when you were a little kid and your mom would give you the Black Friday thing. She's like, circle the toys you want from the big Toys R Us one. You're like, all right, go. Yeah, hell yeah. Now this one as an adult, you're like, all right, here we go.
So yeah, League of Comics doesn't show the like merch and stuff, but it's mainly for comics, and I can't recommend it enough.
That's cool.
My second champion, which adds to this whole theme we've got going on about DC Black Label books, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It's written by Tom King and art by Bilquez Evely. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but she's done artwork on Sandman the Dreaming, Wonder Woman, and even did a artwork for a Doc Savage series in 2014. And I think I'd also be remiss if I don't mention the colorist, because the colors in this go hand in hand with the artwork. And the colorist is Matt Lopez. And I've got to, and I definitely want to highlight how the colors go hand in hand with the artwork. Like artwork reminds me of some Metal Hurlant, like European style comic book.
That's just trying to sound jokey, but it really does set the tone.
100%, because a majority of the story takes place in alien planets and outer space. So it's like a sci-fi. It's like a sci-fi. I won't say romp, but it's heavy on the sci-fi, and it's Tom King, so it's very character driven. It's a very heavy character piece.
Is it like that Superman? Would you consider it?
Like
Superman?
Up and Away?
Yeah,
100%. Actually, 100%. If you like Tom King's work on Superman, Up and Away, you would love this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. It's not and I apologize, it's not a Black Label book. Even though it looks like one of those Black Label books, it's actually under the Infinite Frontier
Is it
imprint.
that prestige format, that oversized? Or
No,
is
it's
it
regular. I
Okay.
apologize.
Wait, there's another. What is it called?
DC Infinite Frontier.
All right, I'm gonna look this up.
And I forgot what the differentiator was, but it's just one of them banners.
This
But
one's out in space.
but this series started in June 2021. Issue came out, issue 8, what was the last issue of the series, came out February 25th. They got a trade paperback that collects the whole series coming out July 26th. And the overall premise is pretty straightforward, man. It's you got this alien girl that Supergirl meets while she's kind of celebrating her birthday, and you kind of find Supergirl in a weird space. Like, she's not really sure what to do with her life anymore. She's kind of figuring out what the next thing is. But she meets this alien girl that is that seeks her out for like a vengeance mission. She wants to get revenge on this guy that killed her father. And Supergirl, being the superhero that she is trying to steer this girl away from vengeance, but it's going to take much more than just a talking to. So it's all about like their journey together, hunting down this guy, and the different experiences that they have.
This sounds like Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah, a little bit. It's got that flair. But the interesting thing is just the way it's written. Like, there isn't a lot of dialogue in the book as much as there's a lot of like exposition and prose. Like,
Okay.
You're reading. The story is told through the eyes of the girl in like a journal format. So you're kind of reading like this alien girl's journal.
You love show notes as well as you love comic notes.
100%. So it's like a lot of, but it feels like you get your money's worth. It's a lot of reading, but the artwork, man, I cannot express.
There's a trade coming out in July if you want to get it all at once.
Insanely beautiful.
He called me about it. Like, he called
Dude.
me. It was the first question. He's like, "Hey man, have you?" I was like, "Nah, I didn't even know he was writing one." He goes, "Bro," and then he sends me the picture, and I was swerving. And she got a sword.
Yeah, exactly. Supergirl's got a sword. I mean, come on. I'm definitely. This is one of them titles where the artwork is so impressive. She's Bilquez Evely is automatically on my list. Whatever she does next, I'm probably going to follow suit. And the more I think about it, I'll have to ask Ashley when I see her again. But I think Ashley spoke very highly about her when it came to her Sandman series, because that's where she's known from, was that Sandman the Dreaming series. But overall, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, cannot recommend it enough. I knowing that it's only 8 issues and I'm on issue 5, I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I did not know it was a limited run, because I want more. So,
are you going to be putting Tom King down for a little bit, or are you going to try to go?
I've been on this Tom King kind of run. I read Batman, Catwoman last week. Now I'm on this. Where should I go after this? What else has he done?
Oh, Strange Adventures.
Oh, you know where
That
I need to go?
one's finished.
Yeah, I should finish
Is that done finally?
Yeah, it's done.
Oh, okay.
I need to go to that. Thank you for reminding me
So
that.
long.
And I need to go to Human Target. I want to read Human
Human
Target.
Target's
Target's
so
cool. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna read that.
Yeah.
So that is my second champion, and my third champion, which I'll keep it quick.
No, we're not keeping this.
Is Atlanta.
The actual country of Atlanta.
The actual
Country.
city, Atlanta.
It's its own country now? They seceded.
Hey, I think so.
Yo, season 3 comes out or premieres on March 24th, which will be the Thursday after this podcast episode premieres. Drew convinced me to rewatch season 2 just to get ready for it.
Talk about hiatus,
Bro. Yeah, it's been 4 years. 4 years, I think,
Wow.
since season 2
Mhm.
ended, I believe.
40, okay.
Actually, let me
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
We'll get this before we get a Frank Ocean album.
And sadly, season 4 will be the last one.
4
but-
years is and let's just say not even 4 years. I mean, because technically, if they go in production writing, there's 3 years worth of rich history that they can incorporate music, tonally,
Yeah.
character-wise.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see where they're going to go with the show.
For anyone that's not familiar with Atlanta, it is a show that premieres on FX. You can watch season 1 and 2 on Hulu. It was created by Donald Glover. It stars Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield, Zazie Beetz, and a whole other...
And Donald Glover as well.
Donald Glover as well. But honestly, this series, and you speak about that 4-year hiatus, like this series really helped launch the careers of everyone I just named. Now, granted, Donald Glover was already an established name before Atlanta, but this show took him to,
Stardom level.
this was the reason why he stopped really doing music at this point, right? Like when this show started coming out, you saw his music output started slowing down because he started doing more Hollywood. But since then, he got the Lando role in Star Wars. Brian Tyree Henry has been everywhere. You know, recently in Eternals.
Did you
know?
ever hear that Donald Glover was to pen a Deadpool series for FX? Like,
I do remember that.
Yep.
That would have been cool. But I mean, shit, Lakeith Stanfield has blown up. Zazie Beetz even started getting into, she was in a Deadpool.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Damn, you know what? It's kind of like Donald Glover has helped all of his friends on this show
become Marvel, DC, and Star Wars characters. You're like, eh.
Well, Lakeith Stanfield, has he been in anything Marvel DC?
No.
Not yet.
He has a great
yet.
voice, though.
Not yet,
he has a great voice.
For sure. But he wasn't Harder They Fall.
No, yeah, he did. I'm sorry. He did Harder They Fall. He plays the samurai in the Netflix.
That's right. Masamune or something like that.
Don't ask me. I'm going to.
I know which one you're talking about. But anyways, Atlanta is all about an up-and-coming rapper by the name of Alfred Miles, who is played by Brian Tyree Henry, also known as Paper Boy. And his friends and manager. His manager is his cousin Ern, played by Donald Glover, and Lakeith Stanfield plays Alfred's best friend. And it's all about their journey from like the street life into entering into the music business and all of the different headaches, heartaches, hurdles, trials, and tribulations that comes with the rap industry. And you know, the show touches on a lot of social, political, racial, and a whole bunch of other types of themes and topics related to the music industry, but also like the Black experience in America, as well as like Atlanta culture itself. So it's no two episodes are ever the same. There is a linear story, but sometimes they jump around with the timeline and what's going on. But it is done so well, man. Like, Drew, would you agree that, like, Drew, do you remember watching that first season and just having like this show having a uniqueness to it?
Oh yeah, it's just definitely like a voice where you're like, yo, you like if you're watching it, you're like,
yeah.
What are they talking about? You're like, oh no, they're actually talking about some real stuff, and they do it in a very creative way.
For sure.
And season 1 and season 2, vastly two different shows, but still keeps like the heart of it really good. And I like about season 2 is the overarching theme,
for sure,
which is Robin season.
Yeah, and you know them exploring like identity, how fame changes you from being an ordinary person to something much more.
All the struggles that
if you enjoy
what you're fighting for.
Yeah, if you enjoy shows like Entourage, How to Make It in America. What's another? Give me one more show that you kind of related, or Twin Peaks. I think Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks.
I throw that in there too. Atlanta is worthy of the watch. So yeah, get caught up if you can. If you've watched the series before and if you're familiar with Atlanta, rewatching season 2 was a lot of fun, and I'm even more excited for season 3. So Atlanta is my third and last champion. And with that being said, since this segment is brought to you by our good friends at Black Hive Tattoo, here's Nick Wagner. He finally decided to chime in this week. He's back from vacation, and he is going to give us our last champion before we wrap up the show.
Hey guys, it's Nick Wagner from Black Hive Tattoo with a new pick this week. For once, I'm not 4 or 5 months behind everyone else. I was in Miami last week, and a friend of mine turned me on to a release from that week from Image Comics called Step by Bloody Step. I really like the art by Matthias Bergara. Reminds me a little bit of James Herron, but a little looser. These great sweeping landscapes, some cool creature designs, and pretty much no text. Oh, there's text, but it's not anything you can read. So there's no dialogue. But overall, it's one of my favorite new things I've found in a long time. So check it out if you see it, because I think this one's going to get hot real fast. Again, that's Step by Bloody Step from Image Comics. Have a great week.
Yeah, I championed that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, all right. I was about to say, I was looking up the...
It's good. I recommend it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, hell yeah. Nick, solid champion. Yeah, Ed championed that last week. Even was kind enough to bring the comic, like he always does, to the studio. Got to flip through that. And I think we even brought it up last time that no words, but it does make up for it in the art and the page count, like the 44-page.
It's like the Iron Giant. That's cool.
That's kind of what my elevator pitch was. It's kind of like a Iron Giant fantasy.
It is so easy just to give that, like anything with a robot and a little kid is just always going to speak to me.
Robot.
Yeah, giant robot and a little kid is always going to be like my like thing. It's Rusty and Big Boy.
Be a giant robot. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But at the end, you're not really sure what it
Eternal,
is.
a Celestial.
Could be.
It does look cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Solid champion. All right. Well, man, that brings us to the end of our champion season, which, Ed, Drew, do you guys want to share any closing remarks, any words of wisdom?
I'm sorry for my language and all my aggressive behavior. Just, I don't like celebrity podcasts.
I learned that Drew is not a fan of celebrity tie-ins for comics.
Not at all.
I learned Charlie Cox is all about getting that money. All right. So expect a PG.
He definitely changes,
his tone.
You know what? Maybe it was a little too violent. It could, there's a lot of violence in the world
definitely
now.
don't agree that Kingpin needed to smash that guy,
cut his head off with the door.
Too much. All right. Well, Ed and Drew, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this episode.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Of course, man. Come on.
Or having me. You always have it.
Drew, our lawyers and HR will be talking to you shortly after this.
I'd probably be just taken off of this episode.
It's going to be a lot of silence.
Yeah.
Cut his track.
And Paul Dano recedes your invitation to his house.
I know. Next time, when we go to the comic book shop, I'm going to be like, talking to Ben and like, yo, don't put. I say, I think Botter wants to add the Riddler by Paul Dano. He was singing his praises.
Anything by Paul Dano. Put me down.
Yeah.
And people are gonna pick that up thinking it's from Paul Dini.
Well, no.
No, only people with dyslexia and me. Me and people with dyslexia is going to think it's Paul Dini.
I'd be impressed if it does come out. If like they announce it as just a big like a hype piece.
Stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, let's see.
I would feel really sorry for the artist then. Like this is like his big shot at DC comic books, and like it gets delayed. We'll see. We should have some wagers on if it comes out or not,
or a pushback.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
All right. All right, well, there you have it, Shortbox Nation. Thank you for hanging out with us this week, but it's time to close out the show. Next week, we'll be talking about Moon Knight, just in time for the Disney Plus series starring Oscar Isaac. We'll be putting a spotlight on Warren Ellis and Declan Shelby's 2014 Marvel comic run that first introduced the Mr. Knight persona. It's one of Moon Knight's split personalities, and it's been predominantly featured on a lot of the promo images. But that episode will drop next Wednesday, and if that's too long for you to wait, consider subscribing to our Patreon channel, and you'll get early access to podcast episodes, access to our spin-off podcast series not available anywhere else, and invites to private events like our upcoming Doctor Strange Watch Party, as well as the ability to vote on episode topics like our patrons did for the Moon Knight episode. Go to patreon.com/theshortbox right now, or click the link in this episode's show notes to sign up. In the meantime, give us a follow on social media if you aren't part of the bandwagon already. But most importantly, take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and please continue to make mine and yours Shortbox. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.